Hinchinbrook, a mountainous, uninhabited island off the Queensland coast of Australia. Covered in a dense tropical rainforest and fringed with spectacular beaches, it's a magnet for hardcore hikers like Australian environmentalist Warren McDonald.
The best way for me to get rejuvenated or grounded, if you like, is to put a backpack on and go into the bush. I'd been hearing a lot over the years about Hinchinbrook Island and figured, I should go and check it out. So it had always been on my map, if you like.
Warren plans a solo trek of the island's only marked trail, the Coastal Circuit. Hinchinbrook receives few visitors. There's no electricity, no hotels. And the only way on and off it is by a ferry that only runs once a day. You could say, once you're there, you're nowhere.
I don't go hiking usually to be with the crowd, so I took off on my own. This, a hike along the coast on a formed trail, walk in the park.
After hiking a full day, Warren decides to make camp on a remote beach. Surprisingly, he finds someone already there.
First thing I noticed is there's a guy sitting down on the beach, wearing a bandana basically, sketching the scene out on the ocean. And I remember thinking, wow, that guy looks pretty chilled out,
Hey, how you going?
Warren introduces himself to Geert van Goelen. Turns out he's from the Netherlands.
Hiking to me is one of the things I really basically live for, and also being able to sketch and paint and draw, which is very important to me. The opportunity that I got for that on Hinchinbrook was just awesome, fantastic.
The two immediately get on and talk well into the evening.
Straight away there was a connection.
Eventually, the conversation turns to the island's highest peak, Mount Bowen.
What do you got there?
It's the trail notes, some trail notes for Mount Bowen. I was thinking to climb it,
Take a look.
Yeah, take a look. There's that book, 1,000 Things to Do Before You Die.
Oh, yeah?
Apparently the view from the top of Mount Bowen is in there, twice.
How long do you reckon it would take to climb?
I think a day and a half, maybe another to come down.
Thoughts of continuing his coastal walk vanish from Warren's mind. It's a moment that will change his entire life.
So we made a plan to get an early start in the morning. We figured it'd probably take 8 hours to get to a high camp, and from there the next day we'd be able to make the summit and probably come all the way back down to the beach in that day.
There is no clear path to the summit of Mount Bowen. Geert's trail notes suggest climbing the 3,700 feet to the top by following a creek bed to avoid hiking through the dense rainforest.
We were going to be off track, but we still had something to follow, so navigation supposedly wasn't going to be an issue.
Warren has the mountain in his sights. He's feeling great and moving well.
I've got a pack on for the first time in 6 months and I'm bouncing like a gazelle from rock to rock.
Unlike Warren, Geert just can't find his pace.
And I had a real battle of getting on with it. I remember thinking, what if I started here, this is not a joke, this is serious walking. Geert! You all right?
Yeah, no, fine. Take the camera.
It came obvious to me that he was just fitter than I was, and I didn't like that much, that idea. But at the same time, I was having a great time. And I like that sort of element in hiking very much. Why should it be easy? I might as well stay home.
Boulder hopping takes concentration. So much so, you can forget about other stuff, like where you are.
We'd probably been going for 5 hours or so when I started thinking, wow, we don't look like we're anywhere near where we need to be.
Both of us realized that there's all these side creeks that we've missed. We missed turn-offs, maybe we were on the wrong path. Doubt started creeping in.
What do you reckon? I reckon we're in the wrong creek bed. I reckon you're right.
The guys are now about 16 hours from the ferry. They've trekked nearly 5 miles through difficult terrain and are 2/3 the way up the 3,700-foot peak.
I didn't feel like we were lost. I don't even know if I'd use the term geographically embarrassed. To me, it wasn't a huge deal.
We're gonna lose the light, you know, soon. It's gonna get dark.
We'll pull up stumps here and spend the night on this slab and we'll keep going from there.
Come on, kid.
I think it was 7:30, and as it goes in the tropics, the dark sets in really quickly, and before you know it, you need a torch just to find your bearings.
Geert may be a little apprehensive, but Warren remains high on the adventure.
I had a pretty big sense of, wow, I'm back where I really love to be, you know, and that sense of remoteness. So I was feeling pretty good.
But the call of the wild is soon replaced by the call of nature.
So I need to take a leak, and the last thing that I want to do is do it in the creek. And you remember, we're out there hiking. This is our drinking water. So the rule is you want to get at least 50 metres away from the creek. So I decided that I'd climb up this embankment, and I made my way across the creek, feeling my way with my feet. I'm sort of tiptoeing across. The stones are covered in moss and it's quite slippery, so I'm being pretty careful making my way across.
Warren comes to the far bank of the creek, a low wall of granite.
I start feeling around on this rock wall. I know that there's a crack there and I'll be able to climb up it. And got my foot up onto the rock.
This piece of granite has a very long history. About 270 million years ago, it was molten lava, buried deep inside the earth. As thousands of millennia passed, the lava cooled and solidified, and cracks formed within it. Then, as the mountains and volcanoes above eroded away, the cracks widened and deepened, leaving this boulder teetering on a knife edge.
And at that point, I heard a huge crack.
What?
I didn't have a clue what had happened. Not a clue.
Were you all right? One. One. Jesus, what happened?
I could feel straight away that he was trapped, and judging by the size of the rock, I could not get that off.
All I know is it's grinding down into my legs. I just want it the hell off me.
The weight of the boulder is crushing Warren's legs, and the resulting pressure building up in his veins and muscles is causing his blood supply to slow. If his blood doesn't start to properly circulate soon, Warren could lose his legs.
I mean, at this point, it's all about the pain. It's just, it dominates everything else. So we just keep pushing at this thing for a couple of minutes.
It's incredible the negative energy that the rock actually gave. It was almost as though the rock was pushing me back. Nothing happened, and it's like trying to push a tank out of the way.
I'm in a world of pain, but there's not a hell of a lot I can do about it.
Geert clearly can't lift the rock alone. Warren, trying hard to focus through the pain, suggests what to do next.
At some point, something kicks in, and I would almost describe it as some kind of primeval survival tactic where it becomes obvious what we need to do. And at this point, I start directing
Oh my God, get calm. Just stay calm. All we need to do, we need to build a lever. We've got to find a branch. There's something we need to get a big branch, a little branch. I will be as quick as I can. Go quickly, Geert.
When he leaves, I start thinking about how I'm going to get down. I envisage crawling back down this creek bed and how long that's going to take me. I'm pretty sure that I got 2 pretty badly broken legs. No, I'm not looking forward to it.
As if things aren't bad enough, the elements begin to turn. Bad news in an area prone to flash floods.
So it started raining. I'm thinking, this isn't ideal. We don't really need this. The last thing we need right now is rain.
I knew that something really serious was happening here and that I had to stay calm.
I can hear him downstream wrestling with trees and branches of trees, trying to break off something decent that we can use as a lever, and I can almost picture in my mind what he's doing. And obviously, I want him to come back as quick as he can. You know, I'm almost trying to will him to hurry up.
I think I got it! I'm coming, Wyatt! I'm coming, man! This is the one! Jump on the glass!
So Geert's beside me pushing.
Okay, ready?
I'm pushing so hard now that I feel like I'm going to tear myself in half. And then all of a sudden it moves, maybe an inch.
Go! Quick! Again! Again! Go! 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 Go!
Do you know, all it really did is we helped it settle further onto me.
Here, mate. You need a bigger branch. We need a tree. Yeah. Go get a tree. Okay. Get a good one. You're gonna be all right, mate.
When he leaves, I start thinking the rain's getting harder and harder. You know, it's getting louder and louder. It's not a big deal until I realise I can feel water swirling around my hips. And it's coming up incredibly quick.
Warren has spent nearly 20 hours trapped beneath the boulder.
I found myself riding a roller coaster, is the best way to describe it, where at times I had to psych myself to such a point, it's just like, I'm getting through this. You know, I can do it. I'm coming out the other side, to taking this nosedive down into the depths of despair, in that's it. This is it. They're going to find you dead out here in a couple of days. And I found that I rode that.
With each step, Geert confronts new perils. This is the Australian green tree ant. It does not sting, but bites painfully, expressing venom from its abdomen, irritating the bite wounds. These guys attack viciously in mass, causing pain like you've never known.
And all the ants came out and were all over me within a few seconds. I was covered in ants. And I saw a pool. And I just jumped in it with pack and all.
The biggest thing to deal with, I think, was the fact that some of the best times in my life had been spent in the wilderness, and I'd spent time as an environmentalist protecting wild places, and the irony was that that same kind of place was now going to be the end of me.
Inside the chopper is Dr. Chip Jaffers, an American trauma specialist working with the Australian Search and Rescue Services.
The doctor was very calm, looked at me and he said, "Hi, we go up now, and where do you think that we can find him?"
We had to make a guess that what we would take would be something adequate to lift the boulder off, and perhaps material to do an amputation if we couldn't get the boulder up. We weren't sure where we were going, what we would find.
Right about now, I've all but given up. You know, I'm convinced that something's happened to Geert, and I'm basically just waiting to die.
Geert struggles to get his bearings from the air.
Yeah, left there. To the left, go to the left. You copy that? That's where we went back. This is close.
Helicopter's still one of my favourite sounds.
I see his arm! I can see his arm! He's okay! Now listen, we're gonna take you back to the beach. We're gonna drop you there, then we're gonna come get him. Okay? Okay.
And I felt really happy and warm. All my tiredness was gone for a few minutes.
There is some kind of hope for me now. But I just felt so tired and so drained. I knew that I was nowhere near out of the danger zone yet.
The medics drop Geert back at the beach to wait for a second helicopter and head back up the mountain for Warren.
I think we appreciated early on that because this is a very narrow ravine with trees hanging over it, there wasn't even a place to really bring the helicopter in, and we were going to have to go down on wires. Even if you've had years of experience doing this, you don't approach a landing like that without fear and trepidation.
I was at the end. I was at the end of the rope. And I start to slip in and out of consciousness. With that pure joy, if you like, that pure relief of not having to hold it all together alone anymore, comes this sense where I just want to lie back and not really give up. It's almost like surrendering that role to somebody else.
This is the critical moment for survivors. Often, at the point of rescue, many, feeling a sense of relief, let down their guard, and then they die.
I had the clear impression he was dead when I approached him under the boulder. I thought, this is really over with. There's not much to be done. He says something to the effect, you know.
Oh, I'm glad to see you.
You know, then okay, then I knew we were there. I knew we were going to be able to do something.
How long you been here? I don't know. I don't know. Now, are you allergic to any drugs? No? Like anything you can give me. Okay.
As Chip assesses Warren's medical condition, the second team arrived with hydraulic jacks and wooden blocks to lift the boulder.
Now we got some equipment to take the boulder off, but it's going to be a slow process. You just hang in there, okay? Now you hold this. Keep it under your arm, okay? Right, that's it. Keep the pressure on, otherwise you'll be losing fluid.
Warren is in as much danger now as at any point in his ordeal. A deadly cocktail of toxins has formed in the blood-starved tissues of his legs. When the boulder is lifted, these toxins could flood out of his legs and poison his body. His blood pressure can crash and his vital organs fail. This is what's known as crush syndrome, and it could easily kill him.
I would say for the normal mortal man, I would have expected him to die, honestly. If not fairly immediately, perhaps when we were to remove the boulder.
To combat the effects of crush syndrome, Chip injects Warren with a massive shot of adrenaline, hoping it will constrict his blood vessels and raise his blood pressure.
He could have died at any moment, I believe.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ironically, it is the length of time that Warren has spent trapped beneath the boulder that saves him. The blood in his legs has clotted, stopping the poisons from spreading into the rest of his body.
Get the hell off me! Get off me! Stay with me, now breathe.
Physically, he survived the rescue attempt, but, from a physiologic point of view, the guy is still in profound shock. So his condition, quite obviously, was critical.
The rescue team gets Warren off the mountain just as the sun begins to set.
You know that there's that book, 1,000 Things to Do Before You Die.
Oh yeah?
Apparently the view from the top of Mount Bowen is in there twice.
Warren was flown to Cairns Base Hospital, but his ordeal was far from over, as Geert was to learn a few days later when the two men spoke again by phone.
I called the hospital in Cairns and I said, Warren, hi, how you going? And he said, yeah, I'm fine, I was a bit worried that you didn't make it out there, but you finally did it. Hey, thanks, mate, thanks. And then he said, but I lost my legs, mate. And I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I'm sorry.
I was so close to not making it. It wasn't funny. But I think it's changed me so much and allowed me to see things so differently. If I had a chance to change it again, I don't necessarily know that I would.
Nothing has kept Warren McDonald from pushing himself to the limit. On February 9, 2003, he became the first double above-the-knee amputee to reach the summit of Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak. Warren now lives in Vancouver, Canada, and travels the world as a motivational speaker. Geert now lives in Australia and returned to Hinchinbrook Island for the first time during the making of this film. Geert, Warren, and Chip remain friends to this day.